My journey at Father and Son so far has been educational. It's been an awesome experience to watch the 3 successful candidates that we've had go through the program, hire and train out and gain a new lease on life as they graduated, if you could say it that way, from Father and Sons. Initially, when a lot of these youth with barriers to employment have come to us in the program, they've had difficulty keeping eye contact, difficulty relying on their own self-confidence, having an opportunity to really grab a hold of a lease on life and provide meaningful give back to society as a whole. They come from all kinds of walks, they come from all kinds of backgrounds, and it's been so rewarding to be able to walk alongside them in their journey. And that's currently what we're doing right now. We have 2, one more or less not so much at risk. He's been with me for about 2.5 years, and another one starting here actually this Friday, next Friday, part-time. So we're currently running 3 full-time employees plus a part-time and a couple part-time employees as well. In the last 6 years over the journey, we've bootstrapped literally from the inside out. We've funded over $250,000 worth of employment income for specifically youth with barriers to employment. So to say that this is a rewarding opportunity is to undercut truly what we're doing, because it's not about me, it's about the program, it's about these kids, these young people coming to us through like-minded organizations like Woods Homes and Momentum, getting the word out there, and then watching these young people grab a hold of this new lease on life, hone their character, hone their skills, and then go out into the world at large, if you will. So it's more than saying that it's a reward just for me, because this is now these young people that are graduating from this program with a new lease on hope. Hi, I'm Jason Leeuw, founder at Father and Sons Power Equipment. How it all started. That takes me way back to when I was probably 13 years old. My father had sepsis, actually he had a stroke, and he collapsed when I was only 12, 13 years old. At that time, I couldn't really tap into a lot of resources that were available to me. I started to become sheltered, closed myself off from the outside world, and started dealing a lot with my pain and anger with drugs and alcohol. By the time I was 18, 19, I figured, I was so deep into it that I needed to do something, or I may not survive another year. So I moved to Calgary from Edmonton. Back in 2006, I took aircraft maintenance engineering at SAIT. That just compounded the problem, however, as I go into college, party lifestyle, and an angry child that hadn't really dealt with his past and couldn't really make sense of everything that was going on. So, fast forward a few months into the program, and I'm at a Home Depot, and I'm flicking out a cigarette and trying to think about ways to end my life. And I thought, I'm going to give God an opportunity to change my life. And I ended up in a community of believers, of Christians, at a church local here in Calgary. And there was one person there, and he saw potential in me that I hadn't seen. Perhaps I was ready at this time, providentially, to accept the help that I was needed. And he took me under his wing. He's a business leader, he's a community leader here in Calgary. An incredible individual, and he took me under his wing and started developing me under his leadership. And fast forward a couple years, I had married my wife, I had graduated from aircraft maintenance engineering, cleaned up my life, and I started wanting to marry the idea of where I had come from, my experience, the wisdom that I had gained from a life that was filled with depression, anger, those thoughts, and where I was at that current point, which was a lot more joyful, with peace. I had dealt with my past, and I wanted to try and provide an opportunity for people that were like me. So I started thinking about ways to do that, and I was working at a major airline at the time, and I picked up a lawnmower from a local garage sale for 20 bucks, and I flipped it for 100, and I thought, man, there's something here. And so processing how my life had gone at that moment, wanting to be around my kids a lot more, always having a little bit of a bug for an entrepreneur spirit, I decided to launch Father and Sons Power Equipment in 2017 from my garage. And all I would do is grab lawnmowers, flip them, and work my 9 to 5, and then flip these on the side until finally I put out a couple of Kijiji ads, and it just snowballed. And we got more and more busy. And eventually I was provided the opportunity to leave my 9 to 5, have the freedom for my kids, get them involved. And then, balancing where I was at. I have 4 children, so balancing where my kids were at, wanting to be a part of their life, my life experiences, and then obviously wanting to give back to the community as a Christian, as a mission. In 2017, I was then able to go at it full time. The turning points at Father and Sons, and even personally in my own life, I could name a few. Initially, for me as an individual, it would have been that mentor that saw something in me within my local faith community at True Church of Calgary, and he invested his entrepreneurial skills and how to be a really good leader. And so that resonated with me. And when we started Father and Sons, out of my garage, seeing a young man come to us through Woods Homes Employment Center, and him and I teaming up in my garage, going to the local library downtown, when it was downtown at the time, in the old library, meeting in the basement while I taught him fundamentals on small engine repair, and literally growing the company with this youth that had barriers to employment, to the point that we moved out of the garage and into an actual building with 5 more employees. So that was a phenomenal turning point. That told me that you can marry the idea of social enterprise and a for-profit business to make positive change and impact in the YYC community, in the Calgary community. So that to me made this worth it. And then watching my own children, I would say, would be the third. Having that opportunity that Father and Sons provides by being an active father in their life. Time would fail me to go into the statistics, but it's 7 times more likely for a child to drop out of high school, or 400 and some odd % for teenage pregnancies, and 70 times more likely to commit suicide or have suicidal tendencies without an active father in the home. And that's specific to a father in the home. So those things sort of shook me. And Father and Sons really provided me personally the opportunity to invest in my own children and to invest in those youth that didn't necessarily have that active male role model in their lives, because the story isn't just specific to my situation. The story is more common than what we would like to see in our societies. So by Father and Sons being that outlet for a lot of these young people to come, it's like an uncle and a nephew, which is an awesome relationship dynamic to compare to. People that I'd like to thank within the Father and Sons family, definitely our clientele. When anybody comes to us with a broken down piece of equipment, whether it be the commercial clients or the residential clients, it means that we're able to continue to make the impact of providing safe skill development, character development to some of these youth with barriers to employment. Obviously, I want to thank Woods Homes, our employment counselors, John Wynn. I want to thank, when it comes to entrusting me, all of our employees that have gone through the program, Tim's and Jaden's, and these guys that come in and they pour themselves as young people and they trust Father and Sons, and then they give their best. That's been incredibly rewarding. I would love to thank, obviously, Ron, my journeyman mechanic, who's been with me for the entire time, helping develop these kids as well as they jump on tools, being patient as they steal his. And it's been awesome to watch him be a source of mentorship as well. But there's so many people that I want to thank that maybe I don't name drop you here, but you know who you are, and I have appreciated. Father and Sons is appreciated. We're better because of you. And again, thank you to the community for your support. The biggest help that we can do as a community is honestly leverage our services. Drop off your equipment. Personally, who I would love to thank, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for faith, if it wasn't for God. There's no question the impact that belief brings to an individual, that the unique, although might be desperate life that one leads up to that point, the pain, the anger, the anguish. If you're listening to this, there's uniqueness, there's purpose to your life, that everything that you've experienced, you can make an impact with. And I came to that realization because of Jesus Christ, because of faith in my life, in the faith community at Truth Church. I'd be amiss if I didn't thank my wife, Jessica. Without her patience, still without her patience and her love, without her continual support and belief in me that we can do this, her consistency in that area, I would not have been able to successfully implement Father and Sons. Then, of course, my own children, sharing their dad. So thank you, with the cause and with the purpose, and then wanting to be involved in it as they move forward and get to tinker on their own little engines. Andrew Bentley, the leader that was in my life, my friend, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for believing in me when I didn't believe in me. And then everyone that I fail to name by name, you know who you are. Thank you for your continual support, because it does take an entire community to impact change and be the driver for the successful communities of tomorrow. Thank you. What's next for Father and Sons? We'd love to grow it into multiple trades. So instead of it being specific to small engines, growing it into electrical, growing it into construction, growing it into plumbing, and really seeing that holistic opportunity that we can make an impact through the trades to young people and provide them an opportunity to grab that new lease on life, that hope, through that positive, sustainable mentorship that we are promising at Father and Sons. Obviously, growth comes in the hopes that we have like-minded individuals that want to get involved with Father and Sons and would want to reach out to us and help us build the impact that we're having. I haven't given it much thought personally. There's personal things that I'm obtaining to, such as courses, always trying to be a little bit more impactful, being educated with counseling and psychology and those sorts of things. I would love to develop this into a holistic program where it's almost a school setting, and these young people turn to us when they're ready to change their lives, when they're ready to truly utilize their unique giftings, their history, their past, and pour it into something like Father and Sons in order so that they become a positive change. So I just want to be along for the ride. I just want to be there as somebody that provides you the opportunity to be the best version of yourself.